alaikum everybody. Welcome to our series Being with Purpose, Shifting Matters. Today we are with Gadija Khan at her home, and I might add that it's quite aesthetically pleasing to sit here as well as clean, unlike my space right now at home. But we are here to discuss our inside-out collaboration, and this was Gadija Khan's idea, so I just want to ask her, why is it that you asked me to start this collaboration, given that I work on the inside and you of course have a brand, a fashion brand, which is working on the outside?
Yeah. Okay, assalamu alaikum everybody. Shukran so much for coming, Zaitun. And I decided for a while, I've been going through some mental health issues. And I find it very difficult to tell people, or even when they ask me how you're doing, to actually say honestly, I'm actually not doing okay. Because there's such a stigma within our community to talk about mental health, wellness, and I wanted to shed some awareness on it. Not necessarily divulging into my own experiences, but more just starting the conversation and speaking about mental health issues a more normal thing.
Yeah.
And who better to share this journey with than with you, my good friend Zaitun. And also you being a transformational coach. I think it's just fitting that the collaboration came together during the month of October, when we do have mental health awareness in South Africa. And it's rightly what you said. I work a lot within my business. I work a lot on the aesthetic of the outside, and you work on the aesthetic of the inside. And I think it's a good collaboration, because as much as we want to look pretty on the outside, we need to feel that on the inside.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've had so many people and encounters with women, especially, where they are so focused on the whole aspect of, listen, I want to lose weight, I want to look lekker in my clothing and all those things, but not thinking about how they identify themselves in the process too. And I have to admit, like, having a mental wellness challenge, and you at one stage also did it with Being with Purpose. With this challenge, it wasn't something that I set out to do. It wasn't when I started Being with Purpose, oh, I'm going to focus on mental wellness and I'm going to do this challenge. It wasn't about that. It was about actually engaging with so many women out there that is struggling with various issues within their life as well, and having so much anxiety and being so overwhelmed with the pressures of their life and not knowing how to cope. So the mental wellness had those aspects in there where it was just to take a moment, take a seat back and just really reflect on what it is that you need to work on within yourself.
Yeah. I find the same within my work environment as well, that I work with so many women, dressing them, and so many women would say negative things about themselves. And it takes a lot for me to break down that barrier for them, so that they can see themselves as the beautiful person that they are. But when I got to a stage where I was dealing with things on an emotional level, I found that I couldn't do that, and I needed to just take a bit of a step back and work on myself and really take time to heal those issues. And alhamdulillah, I came across a wonderful psychologist and therapist that helped me through it. But then also on a day-to-day not on a day-to-day healing, was tapping into your expertise and your challenge that you put out there and the work that you do and the little steps that we can do every single day for ourselves.
Yeah, and so few people are committed to doing even those small things. And I'm not saying that I'm blaming them for that. It's because they feel that there's so much to get to that there's no time for them.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, at some point, and we don't decide to become coaches overnight. It's because we go through a healing process ourselves. So there are so many things that I needed to break down for me too, as an individual, in terms of what it is I was dealing with. How am I dealing with this? I need my sanity. I need to work with other people at the same time, dealing with that kind of energy as well, in terms of swapping my energy and receiving theirs too in those moments. And it was where I needed to also think, and this is why it's so important to me too. It's that sitting down and taking that moment is like, what do I need?
Yeah.
And it's so important because our kids recognize that. I have sons, and for me that's important. It's a vital aspect, because my sons are looking to me. You'd think that they would be looking to the male figure in the household, but they are looking to me. Listen, Mom, I'm in this space right now. And I've had that with my eldest son.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you mentioned was that you needed to see a therapist. Tell us a bit about your experience with regard to that as well.
So what I found myself in the situation that I was is that I actually found that I became stuck. I couldn't move forward without thinking about the different scenarios, thinking about different events and how it made me feel. And when I explored those feelings on my own, I actually became scared, and I wanted to actually just bottle it away and put it away because it became too overwhelming for me. To an extent that's so overwhelming that it consumed me, you know, and I knew and identified that was not a healthy space to be in. And I reached out to a couple of friends and advised, okay, this person helped me really well, and they liked, you know, how she related to them. And I made an appointment, and I went. And that for me was a big thing because it was something that was not done within my family, within people that I knew didn't go and see a therapist at all. So this was really a big thing.
Yeah, and also the other thing what I want to ask you is that was there, and the reason why I was being with purpose is more of a coaching, like a transformational coaching. Obviously, if you are going through deep-rooted issues, like you were saying, and like you were going through as well, is that you need to go see a therapist. But is it some form of stigma? Was there any form of stigma attached with you told somebody, oh yeah, I'm going to a therapist? And I'm speaking specifically culturally as well.
Not so much from the ladies within my circle, my friend circle, because I always make sure that I surround myself with people that I can learn from. You know, I always find that if I can't learn, not to say that I'm writing that person off, but I tend to, within my circle of girlfriends, I always surround myself with people that I know that I can learn from. I never want to feel like I'm the alpha female in the group. That's not who I'm about at all. The more I can surround myself with awesome women, the more that I can learn from them. So within that circle there wasn't, but what they experienced, that there was such big stigma. And I find that it happens in a lot of families. Because of our history within South Africa, there's a lot of deep-rooted trauma within us. Sometimes we can work through it just through our everyday being, and at other times things trigger us that we can't. And that is what I was finding, that I wanted that whatever I was going through, identify where it was coming from, what are my triggers, and how do I prevent myself from carrying it over to my daughters. And alhamdulillah, once I started the first session, I found it to be so liberating. It's almost as if you made your leg sore, you went to a doctor, she gave you an injection, 2 days later, alhamdulillah, you felt relief. It was that sort of thing. And the more I went, the lighter I felt, the more I could see a way forward for myself in a sense of it no longer burdened me, it no longer controlled and consumed me. I did that, and then at the same time I did the Inside Out steps as well, and I found that helped on a day-to-day basis. You know, so it's not just a one-way. It's the same, like, again, I make the example, if you hurt your leg, it's not just going to your GP, get an injection. Sometimes there's physiotherapy that you need to do. Sometimes there's walking, there's amount of steps, there's it's stretching, yoga, for example. So the same approach we've got to have with mental health. It's not just you've got to see a psychologist or therapist and then it's done. You've got to take a tablet and then it's done. Some issues are more severe than others, or it's more deep-rooted and you maybe need medication. And others is maybe just what I experienced was sessions where I could actually just talk and put my thoughts into perspective, doing your everyday program, everyday steps. And then it is things like being comfortable with yourself, being comfortable enough to think about and explore those thoughts without it burdening you. You know, and one of the things that I enjoyed was one of your steps was journaling, putting those thoughts into process, and then being in nature, being still in nature.
Yeah, and I was telling my sisters, we were just having this chat as well, and one of my sisters mentioned that she needs to be out, like outside, you know, she can't just be in the house all the time. It's like during the week she's there all the time, she's working from home and so forth. So for her, it was very important that she's socially active, like, you know, on a weekend basis. And we were all discussing what it is, and the ones it's like, no, you know, she's just fine being in her space, even if it's just weekends. If she can have the whole weekend in the house, she'll be happy.
Yeah.
And then and my sentiment obviously had a balanced approach in terms of what it is that I also, and I said to the ones like, I enjoy that too, because then I'm in my space, I can just do my art or things like that. But then I said the advantage I have is that I'm able to go outside at my place, and I can just go take a walk in my garden. So in that way, I have both worlds, you know. And that is important, that being connected to what God gave us in that sense, because there's so much positive energy, whether it is going to the beach, whether, I mean, you told me once that you just sat at the beach, whether it was just sitting there and watching a series, but that energy that is transferred is so powerful, and we don't realize that. And even in nature, there's a stillness to it, there's a quiet that you cannot get anywhere else, whether it is in your house or anything. It's just there. It's just that deeper emotion that resonates with your soul.
I feel that completely, and that's why I've recently become a plant mom.
Yes.
And I get excited when I see new leaves coming out, and you can see them all over my house. And that's maybe the aesthetic that you're talking about. There's greenery in the house as well.
No, I absolutely love that, yes. And I think my one sister also, because she knows I love greenery so much, she's always showing me, oh, look, Bina, I've got a new plant in my home.
And you get excited when you see that little new root, another new root, a new leaf popping out, and you know that you've nurtured this little plant. But as you can see the growth of that plant, you see the growth in yourself, and you recognize that. And like I said before, with me working with women, but working with women to beautify the outside through my clothing brand on a daily basis, and with lockdown, with not having that around me, because I found that I feed off the energy of other women. You know, I absolutely love it when I could spend some time dressing women, and even if, and I find it sad that we have so many women around us that feel that, oh, I've got this role, my arms are so that they say these negative things, and without you realizing it, that you're taking it in. You know, it's not just something that
wait, but I'm on this whole new buzz also. You know the whole concept of affirmations, right? So one of the things that I've been carrying this with every talk, I think, which is, I don't know why I do it, but it's just the weirdest thing, because it's something that I just discovered recently in terms of the word sexy.
Yeah.
So for me, like, there's so many different connotations to this word, but for me the most profound thing, and how I would define sexy, is like, you're just confident being who you are.
Yeah.
So like a couple of weeks ago, I messaged my sister like, oh my word, I feel so sexy. But it doesn't matter if you're rolling, or whatever, but I just felt so sexy in the sense of who I was and how I felt in that moment. And I still do, and it's having to carry that, and it's all about what things mean to you at the same time. Even the words that we are using, you were speaking about the things that people say to themselves, and one of the things that I mentioned in the wellness challenge is that speaking kind words, but it's not just about speaking kind words or being kind to others, but it's who you are with yourself when you are alone.
And that is what this journey is about. It's not about other people. It's really it's about you. It's taking the time for yourself and healing yourself. I think gone are the time where we can take those emotions that is hurting us and bottle up and put it away and think it's never going to affect us. Something triggers us, and because everything is out there on social media, the smallest thing can trigger you, and you realize, but you know, I'm not healed. I actually need to deal with these issues. I can't just, because those issues can also manifest into diseases within our bodies. So it's important. So I'm very excited to talk about our collaboration in more detail, and especially divulging into your different steps. And you can find the steps on both my page on Instagram at Gadija Khan, as well as at Zaytun's page, Being With Purpose. If you want to screenshot those steps, read through it slowly, work through it, and you know, at times, as women and as mothers, as wives, career women, business women, we very seldom take even a half an hour out of the day to deal with ourselves. And journaling is a really good way of doing it.
It is, and one of the things that I speak about my sisters a lot. I'm sorry.
That's good. They're your tribe. vibe.
Yes.
There you go.
You know, I think I've got so many, and what's amazing is it's having so many, like you were saying, being
Yes.
surrounded by women that was able to support, and I've got that in abundance, and I'm so grateful for that, alhamdulillah. But what I wanted to say is that because, and I was speaking to your husband earlier, we were speaking about me being the artist, and then in one hand, some people just know me as the coach and things like that, and in another circle, I'm known as a mu'allima.
So as women, we're multifaceted
Yeah,
people.
but one of the things that I really, and one of my sisters have started doing was she started also going on an art journey, and I'm a strong advocate of that, because the art journey also started in a sense where it was a therapeutic process for me, and you can actually use both at the same time, where you are journaling just your emotions but doing it more creatively and artistic, using artistic expression, and it really helps, because then when you're looking at it, it's like all that emotion is basically released onto paper, and you don't realize how much of that you actually hold in. So when it's out there, you can look at it from different vantage point as well. So yeah, so we can go on, and this is why we're going to break the session. We're finishing off today, and I just want to say that I'm so glad that you approached me as well with regard to having to do the collaboration, because I do feel strongly about that, in terms of so many people are focused on the external and not looking to the internal. And for a fashion brand to be doing that and saying, listen, but there is that aspect that needs to be worked on at the same time. So shukran, and thank you everybody for our Shifting Matters episode. So with our next one, Gadija and I will be speaking about different steps that you can take, or just focusing on one and then expounding on that, things, very simple things. So see you guys next time. Bye.
Hello.